Okay. Ready? All right, it is show at 5:30. I will call the Board of Works meeting to order. Make sure you've got your microphones on, please. Roll call, please.
Barry Green. Here. Bruce McIntosh. Here. Greg Wright.
Here.
Jim McDonald.
Here. All right, looking at the minutes, need a motion to approve the minutes from the October 20th meeting. If there's no questions or concerns or changes.
And
I was not here, so I will abstain.
hang on. We got to approve the 6th because you didn't have a meeting on the 20th either.
Oh, you didn't have a,
No,
there was no meeting on the 20th?
No, you only had Greg.
Oh, I didn't know Bruce wasn't available.
Hello, Bruce. Oh,
Because that was
Oh,
the day
yeah.
my mother. Oh.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we didn't have a meeting on the 20th because we didn't have a quorum.
So we don't approve 20th minutes, there was no
okay, so
meeting.
we're to the 6th, is that right?
No, there wasn't anything
to
on the
the 6th?
agenda. Yeah, that would be right.
Okay, so we have no meeting on the 20th, so we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes on the 6th of October.
So moved.
Motion by Sherry, second by Bruce. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, under old business, the NDOT project sidewalks. You guys will notice we have a map over here and some, I guess, plans from NDOT about the Broadway Street project. And some of these sidewalks that weren't included in their project, we as a city are going to piggyback on top of that. We've marked some areas from the area of basically Brown Street to Stout Street, some sidewalks that are bad that are included that we'd like to include. Clint, you want to come up to the podium and talk about those a little bit? I think up is good.
Yep.
Oh, down is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's down. All right, so NDOT's gonna do a pavement, what they call a pavement replacement, and it's gonna be from Brown Street to Stout Street. So in this process, they're gonna dig down roughly 4 or 5 feet, replace all the utilities. They're actually replacing our water and sewer infrastructure. So as this project has grown, it originally started as just a simple mill and fill, and then as they've done core drilling and stuff like that, they've realized that they have to go more than that. So as this has evolved, their scope of work has went more and more and more, and so the sidewalks have kind of fell to the wayside. They will bring all the approaches up to ADA, but some of the sidewalks in between is not going to be within their scope of work. So then at that point in time, they came to the city and said, basically, if this is something that you want inside that scope of work, you'd have to enter into an interlocal agreement to fund that. They can put it in their project, but it would be on our dime. So where they're at now is they finally basically came down with an engineer's estimate, which I think is like right around $229,000. That's the engineer estimate to fund it. So, but that being said, just because their estimate is coming in at $229,000, I'm assuming that the agreement's going to say, hey, you agreed to pay for this amount, but if it's 10% over, you guys are also agreeing to that. But if it's 11% over, then you can bow out. But there'll be a variance that, or a variable or whatever, that we have to agree to. So the reason this is going to be like a typical contract, that's like, so this is something that the Board of Works is going to have to go into the agreement, but then the City Council is also going to have to fund this agreement because this will be a contract with NDOT. So I think it's by June 15th, we kind of have to have a decision whether this is something that you guys want to move forward with collectively. And then if we say yay, then they'll include it into their project. The kicker is
June 15th?
Or
December.
I was going to say,
Might-
because
did
you
I
just
say
told
June?
me
You
like
did.
3 minutes ago, December 15th.
you just said June, so.
Sorry, December 15th, I believe, is when they need to know to put it in the contract docs for them to go out to bid. So the other wild card to that is this also includes an additional $40,000 for soft costs for them to engineer it. Yeah. So don't hang on to $229,000 because it could, if their estimates come in, or the bid, I'm sorry, not the estimates, the bids come in higher than $80 a square yard for concrete. So it's something that we wanted to bring in front of the Board of Works, and then obviously we'll do this again in front of the City Council.
What do you need tonight, Clint? You need a,
Nothing tonight, just kind of bringing it to your guys' attention. We're starting to have meetings as soon as next week with NDOT, just of a lot of, just to discuss different things like basically traffic and everything like that. And then NDOT will actually be coming in front of the Board of Works and the City Council probably closer to the end of the year and discussing, because they're going to want to have public, I don't know if it's going to be considered public hearings more so than like a public forum.
Meetings.
And trying and asking you guys to start educating and letting people know new traffic patterns, everything like that. We're trying to be proactive. What's next on the agenda is, I can speak on that when we get to that. But we need nothing tonight. This is just basically initiating, putting it out, and giving you guys time to think and figure out this is something that you guys want to do. Yes, sir.
So Clint, on these sidewalks that we could do, when NDOT does the project, are there sidewalks there now that they're gonna destroy?
Yes, yeah, there's certain sections that they have to tear up and replace because they're within their right of way and it'll be within utilities and stuff like that. But there's the majority of the sections are not there.
Not there.
Yeah,
now.
there's no interruption. They're basically gonna go inside the curb to inside the curb. Like, so from Main Street to Prince Street on the, what would that be? The south side, they're gonna replace all that. That is part of their scope of work. But from like Embry to, well, from Dorsey to Hart Street, they're not gonna replace. That's not inside their scope of work. Even though, you know, I mean, we all know how our sidewalks are, that's not gonna be inside their scope of work. So
The road's gonna go right by it.
yeah. They'll just do literally the approaches and then that's it. Yeah, and it's a funding thing for them too. I mean, you got to think how this project has grown for NDOT. So cuts have to be made somewhere to fund something like this.
It's also a right-of-way thing too, because they have a lot less right-of-way there between Broadway and Prince Street, or Main Street and Prince Street, as opposed to there to Hart Street, because you're talking about the road is way wider.
And all these sidewalks are within NDOT right away. They will not accept anything outside of NDOT right away. So if like we ask to say, hey, we want to turn and go 5-10 feet down, they won't. It has to be within their right of way. And they've been out, you've probably seen them out. They've had their right of way surveyed. There will be citizens getting letters from NDOT. When they get letters from NDOT saying, hey, you have structures within NDOT property, that's not us. That's NDOT. They need to reach out to NDOT, not the city of Princeton.
I think the way me and Clint looked at it when we were out measuring and looking at some of the sidewalks that were in disrepair, you know, it's definitely a mobility issue for people, and it's also, it'll help us on our ADA compliance at some point, even though they're doing the ramps. It's just, you got a sidewalk with a nice ADA ramp one side of the block and the other, and then the sidewalks broke up in between. We looked at it as more bang for your buck while they're here, getting them to do the sidewalks at the same time. And the disruption of traffic and everything else that's going to happen while they're doing that project. I mean, how much easier it is to do the job when you've got the road closed than it is when you're trying to fight with cement trucks and equipment to rip up sidewalks and all that stuff. Do it while the road's closed. So the number is what it is, depending on where the bids come in. But that's the way we kind of divide it.
And there's $40,000 no matter what. I mean, we got to write a check for $40,000. That's all utilities is reimbursable. We're not going to have to spend a dime on water.
Well, that's a good point, because
Enough on that, but there is $40,000 up front, and then we got to wait for the bids to come in. Yeah.
I mean, what if NDOT would have said, well, we're not going to do your utilities, we're going to put a brand new road over that? I mean, how would we look if we didn't ourselves go through and fix some of the utilities? But it's all that's on their dime, and I don't know what that carve out is on the estimate of what this total project's going to be, but it's going to be substantial. I don't
True,
even
but you
know.
can't pay for sidewalks out of sewer and water money.
No, but
Absolutely cannot. We're street.
we could also,
We don't have any
We-
streets.
we can't afford to do what they're talking. I don't know what, like I said, the carve out's going to be on the entire project and what utility replacement's going to be in this whole project, but it's very, very substantial amount.
You guys got the money to pay for it?
Depends on when the bills due. We have edit money, we have other avenues that can be discussed. And we just had a ban, did we not?
Yeah.
Geo bond, so.
Alright, something to think about.
So anyway,
We have
there
the
you go.
plans and everything like that. If you guys ever want to set up a time to individually meet, we can go over each section, so on and so forth.
Yeah, spend some time looking at the map. The map on the wall is kind of a crayon version that I did just to show you the orange sections are the sections we're talking about replacing. And then as you look at the NDOT plans, they have a little more detailed look at the orange sections on what we're talking about replacing. And everything in the blue you'll see is what NDOT's included in their project for the Broadway project. Thank you, Clint.
Yep.
All right, under new business, we're gonna do some bid opening for paving project. Clint's talked about, and I guess you probably should step back up here about what you're wanting to pave. We're looking at some preemptive stuff with NDOT coming in and doing Broadway about paving Vine Street, which is the major artery through that area of town, plus Brown and Spring Street, which are north and southbound avenues.
These are, we submitted for community crossing, and it was our original intention to put this into community crossing. CCMG was due the end of October. Probably we're thinking that it's gonna get awarded in December, so that means we would be putting out the bid in January. Historically, usually whenever, by the time January, February rolls around, we put stuff out for bid, get on schedules, that puts us into the later months of the year to usually everybody that's bid right now are gonna get early spring paving, get on the schedule and stuff like that. So that'll push us out. So with that, we carved out these roads. The whole intention on these roads is for this NDOT project. The way NDOT is setting this up, these are probably gonna be pretty main thoroughfares. And so we've worked pretty hard to get the water lines fixed as much as possible and killed underneath some of these roads. And so now they're basically ready to pave. And so that's why this is kind of unconventional for us to carve those out. But we're hoping that, and there's a deadline in this contract saying that these roads have to be paved by June 1st. Because NDOT's expecting sometime in that time frame to start their project. So we don't want to have our paving crews shutting down what we're going to assume is main thoroughfares right in the middle of construction. And that's what would happen with CCMG. So that's why with our CCMG, some of our roads, you'll notice that a lot of them don't connect to Broadway and stuff like that because, and they're not main thoroughfares except these, because we don't want to be paving roads while they got the state highway shut down. That's going to be adjoining the state highway.
With that being said, we do have a bunch of projects for CCMG next year.
Yeah, we submitted that middle of this month, and so
Was that the full million you're applying for, or is that?
1.2 million, so that would put us at well, depending on what the bid's coming at, but yeah.
That formula's changed, didn't it? 80-20 or
No,
something?
right now, this is the last year right now is for that. Next year, it will change with the new, based on if you have a wheel tax and stuff like that. So, yeah, this will probably be our last year that we'll apply for.
Depending on what council does with the new wheel tax and those kind of things, those things will yet to be determined.
Yeah, yep.
More meetings on that. So tonight, we're looking at bid opening for the project that encompasses Vine Street, Spring Street, and Brown Street.
Ready?
Yep.
J.H. Rudolph. Ted, all right. Is that
Yep, that's right.
163,391, 163,391. J.H. Rudolph. Arts Paving LLC.
You said Black Arts?
Yeah. Arts, A-R-T-S. Looks like A-R.
Where are they out of?
Elberfeld, Indiana. 148,754, 148,754. David Enterprises. $148,638, 148,638. Jerry David Enterprises. This is E&B Paving. $142,134.50, 142,134.50. E&B Paving. Want to take them under advisement?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
Ask we take them under advisement so we can review them.
entertain a motion to take bids under advisement.
So moved.
Motion by Sherry,
Second.
second by Bruce. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, don't show any other new business. Public comment, any public comment for the Board of Works? Public comment? Any other business by Board of Works members? Other business? Okay, I would invite you guys to check out those plans over there. Pretty interesting.
Change.
Yeah, well,
There's my other business.
to do that this afternoon, didn't it? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.